Welcome back to Nerd Thug Radio. I'm the Captain Joey Savage.
Core DLG.
Nico DLG.
You're listening to us on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1.
Sister Stations.
And worldwide at
IRLoneStar.com.
Don't forget, check us out, Facebook.com/Nerd Thug Radio.
True.
That's where you can interact with us.
Yes. Yes.
Comment on our posts.
That's right. We do full interaction.
We full interaction that to death. Fresh to death. And occasionally we have people who are, starting new businesses or getting some cool stuff going on, and we'll share that and we'll help out our own community. So follow us on Facebook for all the cool stuff, and then go to Twitter at Nerd Thug Radio, where we tweet random people and they don't respond, but it's still pretty fun.
Yeah, we're definitely kind of just yelling in a vacuum on there.
I really am. Although we made I made a couple strides this week, just a couple.
Yeah.
Couple strides. All right, Corey DLG. So there's something you want to get off your chest.
No, I mean, it's not something on my chest.
Only story you have written down.
Yeah, it's the only thing I wrote to talk about this week.
Goat's head.
So this is just kind of some neat history here.
Oh boy.
One of the first.
Did this come from a Facebook post you got into an argument about?
No.
Okay. Continue.
No. Had a couple of those this week.
I digress. I saw those.
So one of the first submarines that was ever invented.
Okay.
Sank February 17th, 1864. It was the H.L. Hunley.
H.L. Hunley.
It sank during the United States Civil War.
Okay.
Because it successfully torpedoed and sank the USS Housatonic.
Woo. That's a great band name.
It really is. Housatonic. It was off the coast of South Carolina. This was a big deal back then. They always knew about it, the H.L. Hunley, but they never knew what happened to it.
Okay.
So they found it in the year 2000, and they raised it.
All right.
And this is where it gets
crazy.
Weird.
There was still
very
someone
weird
on the submarine alive.
That would have been awesome. Right? So the assumption had always been
that's neat
that something must have malfunctioned because it was one of the world's first submarines. Something must have malfunctioned, and therefore they drowned or died at the bottom of the ocean.
Bottom of the deep blue
sea. when they pull it up and they open it, they're confused. All the 8-man crew was all still there, and they were all still in an active position. No one had moved when they died. So now they all obviously it's been hundreds of years, so all the soft tissue is all gone. The skeletons are what remains. However, none of them ran for a hatch or to use any pumps or to try to do anything to stop anything from happening. Literally, when they raised it in the year 2000, it was intact. There was a small hole where a window was shattered, and there was something that was open on the top, like a man trap kind of thing. But no one moved to save themselves at all. No one left their active position. So they then
went down with the ship.
But they had no idea why at that point, because they're like, well, somebody, if there was water in there and they were panicking, somebody would have done something. So the mystery exists and persists from the year 2000 until recently. Duke University has solved the problem.
Ooh, I want to hear it.
This is crazy. This is a really cool story.
I'm so excited.
So what they did when they torpedoed the USS Housatonic, they didn't actually have real torpedoes back then.
Right.
They had
torpedoes.
They had a pole that was attached to the front of the submarine, essentially.
Okay.
And it was a long distance pole, and then on the front of that was secured an explosive.
Long distance poles.
And you essentially aimed it through that mirror or that glass that wound up being broken later.
Okay.
They basically used that to aim it, and then they poked the boat with that explosive until it went off.
Okay.
So what happens, they were only about 40 meters away from the explosion when it happened. And the percussion of that explosion was so strong that it shredded all of their lung and brain, probably.
This sounds like something you would have seen in the movie Wild Wild West.
They essentially instantly died. They said they all would have died within a matter of like 2 to 4 seconds. Because the shockwave rolled through, and literally, like, they immediately couldn't breathe because their lung tissue was destroyed by the repercussion. And it took them 17 years to figure out what happened.
They had to wait for technology to catch up to figure it out.
Right. And what they did was they did a bunch of multiple scenario tests, and they
killed like 75 people to figure it out.
No, they didn't use any real people, but they were measuring force and things like that, and they figured out that the force that they would have experienced
would have just straight murdered them.
It was like 8 to 12 times more than you're supposed to be able to. Like, they should have been at least 200 meters away when it exploded.
That's crazy.
Right.
But I mean, that's the
Real
one thing about
crazy.
explosives is
Yeah.
that there's no buffer in water.
Right.
It just shreds you.
Right, and that was the other part. Is like if they had been in air,
They would have done anything.
40 meters away would have been a decent distance. They would have survived for sure. But
But
in
they were in
water,
water.
kind of.
Yeah.
Water ruins everything. We found that over the weekend.
That's true. Water does ruin everything.
This is the water episode?
This
Water
is
episode.
So-
comes from the water.
This is the
That's
water
awesome.
level.
So February 17th, 1864 until the year 2017, no one knew what happened to him.
Tragedy.
That's crazy.
Isn't that? But that's kind of a neat
Could you
story,
imagine being during the Civil War time
right?
and someone being like, hey, get in this thing and go in the ocean and blow
Underwater. And then grab a stick with a
underwater.
bomb on it.
and then blow someone else up.
I gotta think.
You got to equivalate that to the person who said, I wonder if I pull on that cow's teat, if milk will come out.
Right. There's a lot of firsts that I always wonder about. Like the first guy who ate oysters.
Yeah.
Right. Like who
I just
made
was gonna
that
crack this
Or
judgment
who
call?
invented cake?
That's a fair
Think
point.
about it. Like,
yeah.
How do you take
how would
all
you
the-
know to
how
put
does
all
someone-
these together?
take all those ingredients and be like, if I put this together, it'll make a nice cake, a pastry, something sweet.
Speaking of cake, this blew my mind the other day.
Cake.
And I have verified this to be accurate.
There's only one type of cake I like. Continue.
Oh, okay. That was a cliffhanger there.
It was. It's a PG show.
So if you take like yellow cake or white cakes, like the mix,
Yes.
and you mix it with a can of Sprite.
Okay.
The can of Sprite has all the ingredients in it already to make a lemon lime flavored yellow or white cake.
Nice.
And if you take dark cake mix and mix it with dark soda,
Yeah.
root beer or Dr. Pepper or Coke,
Right.
you will get a root beer or Dr. Pepper or Coke flavored cake.
Yeah.
And that you don't do eggs, you don't do any of that
Oh,
other stuff.
just the
you
soda
just literally
and-
pour a can in
soda and the
with
mix?
the cake mix.
Do they call that no bake cake?
I don't know. I mean, you still bake it.
No mix
mean-
cake?
No eggs
still-
cake?
Maybe.
Are there eggs in soda?
Gluten free cake?
I'm sure there's gluten in soda.
I've got a funny cake story.
Okay.
So when I was a wee little lad,
Okay.
I loved history. You like
Yes,
history too?
yes.
Two of our favorite subjects. One of our favorite subjects.
Two
for
of
both
our
us.
favorite history, also history.
Math wasn't on there.
Yeah, not on there. In one of my social studies books, I want to say 5th grade, there's a recipe right in the middle that said Johnny Appleseed cake. And I wanted to make Johnny Appleseed cake. I got so excited. Like I didn't even like cake, but it's just Johnny Appleseed, man.
Right.
Like I'm gonna make the cake he used to make.
Right.
So I bring it home to my grandma and we Xerox the papers at school and I bring it home to make it. We spend like an hour making it. Cornbread. It was just cornbread. It wasn't even cake. It was just cornbread.
So here's my first question.
Just cornbread. I'm sure my grandma knew the whole time we were making cornbread.
That's what I was gonna ask.
But she just let me roll with it. And then we got done. I was like, wait, Mama, this is cornbread. Yeah, I know. What the heck, man? Like, you think you're going to find something cool in a school book? No, just cornbread.
I mean, I like cornbread, but
I mean, I do too, but like, I want a cake, and I don't
Right.
typically
Right,
want
this is
cake.
cornbread now.
right.
I'm not typically a sweet eater.
But-
Never really been.
But when you
Well, now
get
you got cornbread. It's not
right,
sweet.
when someone says history cake,
But we didn't have beans. We didn't have like meat to go with it. It was just cornbread.
Okay, because of the cornbread.
Dip
right.
it in buttermilk, my grandpa said. No, thank you, Pops.
Right. Buttermilk and then goat's milk is
There's
the
a
other thing.
generation where people just did some weird stuff, man.
Right. Yeah.
Straight up weird stuff.
Not us. Not
No,
at all.
not at all.
No.
We don't.
No.
With food. at
Millennials
least.
and Gen Xers aren't weird at
Right.
all.
Okay, so let's get back to this. You're in the Confederate Army.
Right.
Or the, whatever. And they're like,
Yeah, I actually, off the top of my head, I don't remember which one was on which side.
the
there.
Union. Yeah, you're in the Union. You're in the Confederate Army. Either way.
Yeah, I
Because
don't
there was
remember
one
which.
on each side, right? So
Right,
who
right,
cares,
right.
right? So you're on either side.
Yeah.
And I'm going to join this group called the Navy. They do stuff on boats like pirates. You get all excited. And they're like, hey, see that like big metal thing? Get inside of that and we're going to put it underwater.
Right.
And you're going to go touch some dude and like blow him up. We don't know what's going to happen, but that's all you, man.
So see if this logic makes sense to you. Because here's how I could be talked into it. The first team to go in, I could be on that team. I could do that. Now I'm claustrophobic, so I
And you
probably
don't
literally
like deep
couldn't do it.
water.
Well, I don't like dark water anyway.
You'd be afraid of sharks.
Dark water.
Right, but a shark's
in
like
But
an
you'd be
eating.
inside of something.
A shark wouldn't eat me inside of a submarine. I would just probably die if the submarine breaks. But here's where you lose me.
Right.
When Team 1 never comes back. And they never know why. Until now. Until now do they know why. When Team 1 doesn't come back, you're not getting me on Team 2.
We blew up the other one,
Team 2 is never happening.
but we didn't find those guys.
Right. Mission
So I'm not
accomplished.
quite sure what happened. Who's next?
Right. Not me.
Who's next?
Not me.
Who's
I
next
can-
on the list?
Nico's over there, and they're like, "Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I'm in."
Yeah.
And he just jumps into the boat,
Like, so
or the
here's-
submarine.
I could totally team one it, but once team one doesn't return, there's no way I'm on team two.
Right.
There's no way. Not gonna happen. Hey, we think I got another one of these submarines. Let's go sink another boat. No, I'm out.
Nope, no,
Nope.
thank you.
Last time that was a 1-for-1 deal. I ain't
Right.
going for
I'd
this
like to
one.
be in the Air Force, please. Let me fly a weird
I'll wait
plane.
until they invent an airplane.
When they invent an airplane, I'm all about
Right.
it. I'm about it.
Let me go find the Wright brothers.
I trained enough
they
pigeons to
alive
join
yet?
the Air Force.
Right.
Right.
So yeah, when team one doesn't come back though, but there's no way
Even to this day, like I don't.
submarines.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Think of all
It's
the
a weird
crazy
thing.
top secret submarines that just have nuclear
Right.
bombs just floating in the middle of the ocean.
and they
you
all
know-
carry those little cyanide capsules. Like, if something goes wrong, bite on this.
I don't think that's true. I don't think they
They've
do.
got to.
Nope.
Really? They don't
Yeah.
Yeah,
They've got
they
to.
just use handgun straight.
Honestly, I think they just all run around in a circle and just yell very loudly. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my! Because I
with
don't
their
know.
nuclear powered submarines.
Right? Because I don't know what you do. There's nowhere. There are no escape
No.
pods in a submarine.
It's a suicide mission at
Well,
best.
no. At
at
best it's a
best.
return mission.
Right.
No, I don't think
Best you
that's
come
I
back.
don't think that's possible.
But the weird part is like,
It's got to be hot down there. There's no AC.
yeah, no, yes, there is.
Is there?
Yeah. So the weird thing is to
Your
do it
circulation
with
system.
the weird thing is to do it with a nuclear reactor.
Right.
That's the weird thing to me because like it's one thing if you're doing it with a diesel motor and like you understand how all that works
Old school
and we're
way.
all safe,
Right.
And like it's just pumping CO2 and like venting it into the ocean. But when you start to realize that like we're being powered by this radioactive material that's literally just like
Radioactive.
ebbing waves of life-altering radiation, and they're containing it like in a Coke can.
I just don't know about this.
Like I don't know, like that
This
to me
is fine.
Right. Every day I would wake up and count on my toes and like make sure I'm not growing spots or anything because the idea is like, oh,
I've
we're
got
all
6
living
toes today.
right. We're all living off 100 feet from a nuclear reactor. That to me is the weirder part,
2,000 feet.
It's the
under
cleanest
the sea.
energy source on the planet.
except for when you dispose of it. John Oliver just did a really great
What about
piece
wind
about
power? Isn't wind power pretty clean?
that. All
no.
of the renewables are except for nuclear. Nuclear,
Except for the
No,
nuclear.
solar produces a lot of waste that you wouldn't know because of panel replacement.
but it's
And if you look in the sun, you
but
go
it's
blind.
like
Yeah. Also, if you look
yeah,
into the sun, you go blind.
yeah.
Or if you look in a solar panel.
So there was a rapper in Canada. I know we're getting down here. A rapper in Canada
Yeah, you got
who
30 seconds. I'm cutting you out. Nico, get ready to cut him off.
pre-eclipse was like, I'm gonna stare at it without glasses because I'm a man.
Right.
Had to cancel the show 2 days later because he now has severe eye problems.
What an idiot.
Because he's now.
Canadians.
They now call him DJ Bad Eyes. I
Ooh.
can't tell you what he called himself before.
Oh, okay.
Bad A.
Oh, DJ Bad Eyes skill. That's actually
Yeah.
pretty decent name.
DJ Bad Eyes.
pretty
Canceled the show in Canada.
He should probably learn how to play the piano.
You should probably learn how to not stare at the sun.
Yeah, that's what happened to
Follow directions, people.
Stevie Wonder.
Follow directions.
We're
Now-
going to get out to a break real quick. When we come back, we're going to talk about our events at Space Cadets Con.
Woo!
NerdThugRadio.com.